Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Jordan. This is Jeremy, and this is the Splash Pad Podcast. Not get it right. All right, today we're gonna talk about how COVID is affecting the swimming world. So today we're gonna talk about how that affects, the Olympics, the ISL, college, club age group swimmers, high school, the fans, and what you can do to stay active during this time. But I think we're gonna talk about the Olympics first. So the Olympics, this is an Olympic year. If you don't know that already, it has been postponed to 2021. It is held in Tokyo, Tokyo 2021. But yeah, how does this really affect the Olympic athletes? But I want to start off with like the older swimmers and how they gotta train another year. For example, like Nathan Adrian has to train another year. That guy's like 84 years old, so he's got to train another year.
I think
And
it's
it's
80.
82. I don't know, like
I think it's something 32.
32. Well, that's still old, Um, our bodies wear and tear,
He's actually
So
going through testicular
yeah,
cancer as well.
he did go through testicular cancer, which is awful, but he has recovered and he has been training. He actually swam in the what did he the the world champs
Yeah,
this last year, so
and ISL as well.
and ISL. So he's made a full recovery, it looks like. But yeah, he's getting old and he's got to train another.
Older.
He's getting pretty old, but he's got to train another year to
It
get.
was like what's tough with that is there's so many young swimmers like coming up in the events that he's swimming, right? Like swimmers like Caleb Dressel, Michael Chadwick. Um, there's Ryan Held obviously swam in the 2016 Olympics in that relay, and there's just so many swimmers on the come up in the events that he's swimming in, and as you know with the Olympic trials we only take the top two athletes. Maybe he'll make it in a relay, but maybe unfortunate if he can't make it back in an individual event, and that I think is the toughest part, right? For him to have to like maintain his training and just make Olympic trials while like younger swimmers are improving and going to make trials, and it's gonna make it really tough for him
Yeah, he's
when he makes it to trials.
he also swims the hardest individual race you can possibly do, which is the 50 free and the 100 free. There's two times more swimmers in that race than there is in like the 2 a.m. or the 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Or
I would love to see him come back. I mean, the USA team talks about it all the time, where Nathan Adrian is just very consistent, just a great leader, great team captain all around. Every Olympic Games, World Championship games, like he's just consistent and he's there and he's such a good role model for them. And for
good
that,
leader,
like,
good
yeah,
leader as well.
for that, I would love to see him back in the Olympics, even if it's on a relay, which is unfortunate, but at this point, it is what it is.
Right, right. Do you think? I hate to say this, it might not happen in 2021 either.
Like the Olympics might
Yeah,
not
the
happen.
Olympics.
At this point, I think they probably. I don't think they would keep postponing it. I think the only changes would be like not being able to have fans, which would kill the funding and like the economy of building for an Olympics. Like that's why cities and states and countries want to host the Olympics is because like the amount of money that comes in from it, and that part might kill it. But hopefully there's a lot of funding that can come back in and allow for an Olympic Games because I don't know if there's a time where they have like canceled an Olympic Games other than for like World Wars. Even during the World Wars, they had some Olympic Games with some countries not participating. But I don't think, at least to my knowledge, I don't think they canceled an Olympic Games. But don't quote me on that. I actually don't know that for a fact.
I bet that some countries may opt out to do the Olympics this upcoming year. I know that the U.S. has like the most cases and deaths, but I don't know. There may be some countries that still opt out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see for sure. I mean, it's a whole 10 months away, 11 months away, and so I think a lot can happen within that time, either a vaccination or just cases going down, or maybe another virus. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, well, this podcast is canceled. This will be our last episode. No, I'm just kidding. I was about to say something. Uh, but also the experience too for athletes.
Yeah,
If they don't bring fans in, what makes the Olympics so big is, well, they've had it for so long and it's such a great representation for your country. But also like the fans, it's a whole different environment for not only swim, for every sport. And some athletes just thrive on having fans there
yeah.
and being watched.
It's like what people don't realize is like for the smaller sports especially, that's when they get their spotlight.
Right.
And so that's what makes it tough. And swimming is definitely one of like the bigger smaller sports, but like even smaller sports like um fencing, kayaking ones, which I think is like super cool.
Yeah,
But
I
like
watch all of those all the time.
but like the smaller ones, like they need this to be recognized, right? Like they need this big stage for people to like see them and recognize them because that's where they get their sponsorship, which is how they make money, right? For a lot of these sports, they don't make a lot of money throughout the year. And so they need these sponsorships, they need this recognition. Even winning gold, like they don't, all of a sudden become a millionaire, right? Like you need to win gold to get that recognition to be like, oh, I'm top of the world. I'm the best of the best. And then people will be like, okay, I want to sponsor that person, and that's how they make their money. And so that's that's probably going to be the biggest killer for like smaller sports and for athletes who like are in those smaller sports like basketball and what other like big sports are in the Olympics? Oh yeah, track and field maybe. Like for sports like that, like they're gonna be maybe not track and field, but like basketball, they're gonna be fine, right? Like there's the G League, there's the NBA, and like they're gonna make millions of dollars. But it's the smaller sports that people don't normally and regularly watch that we need to like that they're gonna struggle with the most if there's no Olympic Games.
I think the biggest example that I can think of is Cody Miller. When he got bronze in the 100 breaststroke,
Oh yeah,
100 breaststroke, he gained a lot of sponsors,
right on the map.
and this last year he didn't do so well at one of the big meets. I think it was the U.S. Open or something, U.S.
It was
Nationals,
a Phillips
Phillips
66
66
Nationals.
Nationals, yeah. He didn't do so well and lost all the sponsors, and I don't think he was, struggling too much with money,
Yeah.
but he losing sponsors was huge for him because that's his main revenue of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I don't know. A little tough out there for some
For
athletes.
athletes, for sure, yeah. Losing sponsorships and like in the swimming world, it's really tough, right? Like you get funding from USA Swimming, but only if you're top. Cody Miller talks about it in his videos, and we're by no means are we experts. I mean, we're not professional athletes, but I think he said top 30 or something like that in the world get funding, and if you fall out of that, like you just cut off, you just lose your funding immediately, and for a lot of sponsors, it's the same way. You need to stay in this top, whatever category for us to continue funding you. And if you kind of like lose that spot, if you have a bad race, if you have a bad year, for Cody Miller, he had an injury and he just couldn't perform at the level that he needed to. You kind of just lose that funding and you lose the sponsorships, and it's really tough. It's really tough in the swimming community to like maintain that funding and maintain like your place, especially because like in a lot of events like the top 16, half of them are pretty much U.S. athletes. Like it's just really tough for sure. Um,
Um, yeah, the ISL, they kind of teased us, earlier in the year about having like their own like show, not show, but they're gonna bring all these athletes to, where was it? Did they say Australia?
No, they haven't. They
Oh,
haven't
they
released
didn't say.
it yet.
Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, my bad. But they wanted to have all these athletes come together and have like an ISL kind of like a reality show kind of, but like with meets. But I don't think they've sent out any news recently, if
No.
I'm correct about
They
that.
they like released a statement, and that's about it. I mean, it's still what, like a month and a half away. Um, so maybe they're still like planning things. Maybe they just don't have anything set yet, and they still like want to figure everything out. But as of right now, they haven't released any new information for the ISL. But essentially, what they released is that I think they're bringing 200, no, 200. No, I think it's more than that. I think maybe around 200 to 300 athletes to the ISL for these games, similar to like how they've been doing it. Um, but because like um, they're kind of like set in this bubble, they kind of want to make this reality show where you can see like the type of training they do and the type of like workouts they go through and just like how it is being a professional athlete in swimming and the kind of training they do and the lifestyle they live. Um,
That is our dog Akuma.
yeah, sorry, I can kind of see his tail right there.
Messing around with his bed.
Yeah, but before we jump into the ISL, like along with the Olympics, with Nathan Adrian being older for sure, there's also Ryan Lochte as well. And Ryan Lochte, I think they were saying that if he makes this Olympic Games, he'll be the oldest U.S. Um, swimmer to participate in the Olympics. And I think he's creeping up
54?
on,
55?
I think, I think he's creeping up on 37,
Oh,
I
30,
think.
my bad. Wait,
So,
wasn't Anthony Irvin like 38 last Olympics?
oh, you know what? I think it was like 38. No,
Right.
then I think Ryan Lochte's creeping up on like 38 or 30. Man, I don't even know. How old is Ryan Lochte?
Hey Alexa. No, we don't have an Alexa. Sorry. Um,
How old is
but yeah, Ryan Lochte,
Oh,
he came up 36.
Yeah,
How old was Anthony Irvin at the time? Okay. Well, that's for sure. Like he's gonna
I
be
read
the
that. I read
oldest.
that somewhere, but I'm pretty sure.
I thought Anthony Irvin was like at 38.
Maybe,
Maybe he's like 38 right now. I don't know.
maybe.
And he
Um,
was like, what was that mean? 34 at that last Olympics? 35.
I think he was 34 at the last Olympics.
That blew my mind when he won the 50 free.
Bro, that was insane.
2016, oldest person to ever do it.
39. So 4 years ago, he was 35. So it's like 34, 35.
Yeah.
So Ryan Lochte would be the oldest, at least like U.S. Olympic swimmer to like make the team, which like I think is an incredible, like being at the age and just going through all the stuff like he's gone through, being able to make I believe his fourth games, just being able to win more medals and represent the U.S. is would be amazing to me, and like everybody on the U.S. team, like they know Ryan and they know like how he is and he's a great leader as well, but it's just like how the public views him is like a little iffy, and how he lost that Speedo sponsorship, and now he's with Tier, which is still an amazing brand for sure. And we'll actually talk about that a little bit near the end about Ryan Lochte and all of that, but definitely like with COVID like happening and postponing for a year, you would think that like, oh, they have another year to like train and like get faster and get better, but like that's actually like proven to be difficult, at least for U.S. swimmers. And Cody Miller talks about this a lot in his blogs, and we reference Cody Miller a lot just because like him and Michael Andrews are the only other people that kind of have vlogs or have like a YouTube channel that kind of shows their training and stuff like that. There's another guy named Calvin Justice. Um, he swam in NCs, but he represents South Africa. But he's in the U.S. right now, and he's training and all of that. And he's mainly on. I mean, I mainly saw him on TikTok. I think he has a YouTube channel as well, but he talks about the day in his life and how he continues to train and all that as well. But Cody Miller's like super consistent about it. Michael Andrews has been falling off. Not to blame his girlfriend or anything, but
We're
you know,
blaming his girlfriend.
I mean, coming from a guy like I've dated my fiance for 3.5 years, and like as soon as we started dating, there's a few things that like I fell off on even. So
Right,
definitely
so
like
we're blaming
definitely
his
having
girlfriend.
a significant other changes, priorities in your life and stuff like that. So, I mean, we don't blame him. Like, we're happy for him. But but he has fallen off with his like vlogs and stuff. But yeah, Cody Miller talks about a lot like how he has to, drive 30 minutes to an hours just to like find a pool for them to train and practice at. He's even gone as far as to build an endless pool in his backyard where he can just step outside and continue his training. And he's posted a few vlogs about his training and how he's been able to keep up with that, and show sets and stuff that he does when he's training in the endless pool. But it's actually proven to be like difficult to maintain training and through this time. And so I think it'll be interesting to see like the Olympics, because in other countries their cases just aren't as much as ours in the US. And so like for them, training has been pretty regular at this point. So like honestly, I'm kind of interested to see like how the US does this year with and IU has a lot of swimmers, right? Like E Infinity, Lily King, Cody Miller, Blake Pieroni, I think
Apple.
Zach Apple, um, and so they just have like a lot of like those five swimmers are a huge part of the U.S. team, and it'll be interesting to see with them struggling with their training, like how and Annie Laser on the
Margot
come up,
Gear.
Margot Gear, yeah, that's right, and even Youssef El Kamash, who he swam at GCU, shout out Youssef, but now he's training with IU, which is incredible. It's cool to see. I mean, he's a breaststroker with a really good breaststroke group, so that's really cool to see him there as well. But they just make a good portion of our Olympic team, and seeing them struggle, kind of it. I just think it'll be interesting to see like how they'll perform at the Olympics, where other countries are being able to train regularly and continue to like have meets and practices and stuff like that. So maybe I don't know if we'll like struggle, because like I mean we really show up when it counts, but like I don't know, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's gonna be it's like tough.
yeah. If you look at Cody Miller's vlogs and stuff like that, it's a great way to see how Olympic athletes or athletes that are trying to get to their first Olympics are struggling right now. Um, that like honestly, it shows a lot. Not everything, of course,
Yeah.
but Cody Miller really struggled earlier this summer with finding a pool to swim out. He actually swam at a pool with one lane, with like three other athletes, and it was like 2 hours away in this guy's house,
Yeah.
and it was just a struggle to see that. So
Yeah.
I don't see him, performing well right now, especially in those conditions. He did build a new, what is it called? Infinity Endless Pool.
Yeah, Infinity Pool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
almost said that. Which will help a lot, but not every athlete has that.
It's like different, right? I mean, he even talks about in his vlogs like having that resistance coming at you rather than like pulling through the resistance. I mean, it's like different. It's like it's definitely better than nothing, but like it's just different and in the feel of the water and like that type of training for sure. So, um, it. I mean, he says there's benefits to it, and you can definitely still like run sets and still train and everything. But it's definitely just gonna be like a little different for sure than training in an actual pool. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, though, Cody Miller is swimming at I don't know, is it? I think it's a public pool, just like
It looks
some
like it.
random
Yeah,
pool, but it's only for like the pro athletes as well,
yeah.
swimmers that are trying to get into the Olympics. And it's not even for the actual NCAA team
Yeah.
that he swims for. So I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Well, I mean, I think it's like that just because like for collegiate athletes, they're probably home, right? Because they go to IU for school, but they probably live in another state, and and like their season technically hasn't started yet, right? And so like it's kind of like difficult. Sorry, good enough.
Yeah, check out Cody Miller's channel. He has some great videos on there. I've learned so much from just watching him. Also with Michael Andrews too.
Yeah. And Michael Andrews was talking about that too, where like he was training at some guy's like house in California as well, and you can see it like on his Instagram too, like just how small that sort of pool is, and literally just trying to find anything to do to like continue training and swimming and doing all of that. He even went as far as to like move workout equipment into his garage at his house to like continue to work out and do like some cross training. Like he's been going surfing a lot, being in the ocean and doing like that type of swimming. But the pools in his area in California have opened up, and he's been able to like train. I don't know how regularly, but he's been able to at least train in an actual pool for sure.
You know what was like super sad though? How he used to live in, was it Kansas or wherever?
Yeah, yeah.
And he had that 1 lane pool in his house.
Well, two
And then
lanes.
it was a 2 lane pool.
Yeah.
And then he moved out to Cali and then
And he said he wouldn't. I believe he said this in the vlog. He's like, yeah, I don't regret it because like I love California. I love the atmosphere and just like being in this area rather than being in Kansas, you know. But like, I mean, how sick would it be to just go out to your backyard and you have a whole pool right there, and not just an endless pool, but like a pool to actually like train in. And,
And he also doesn't swim for a club. He's
Yeah,
coached by his father.
yeah.
So like honestly, if he was still there, like COVID really wouldn't have affected him like too much.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
But
that is that's super important. Like that's that's something I think about a lot. I'm like, dude, I need a pool in my backyard. Like when I'm older, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna get a pool, no doubt. Like,
Yeah.
that's definitely something I'm gonna get, for sure. But yeah, Olympics are definitely gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, this ISL league like helps a lot with being able to like find that competition and like train again. And that's still like what 8 months out from the Olympics, but you know it. Like I said, I feel like it's something. It's better than nothing, right? And so hopefully that'll help. I don't know if they'll do the tier pro swim series. Like I just everything is just kind of up in the air, and it's really it's like it's interesting to see these professional athletes like kind of like work through it and like find ways to like continue to train and like practice through all of it for sure.
Right. All right. You want to go to NCAA swimming? Yeah, a lot of stuff going around with college. The
Sorry, let's start with the ending of 2020 first, and like how that kind of just like sucked. Like to me, like the biggest thing was Abby Whitesole could have gone sub 20 in a 53. Like,
first to ever do that.
come on, man. That would have been so sick.
It's
dude.
unfortunate.
Like,
It is.
like swimming at conference, what was it, 20.03 or something like that?
21.
No, it was a 20.03.
20.03?
Yeah, bro, she was gonna be 20.03. Am I tripping? Or was it a 21? Bro, am I tripping? I thought she was gonna be the first one to go sub 20.
Sub 20?
Sub
I
20.
thought it was sub 21.
No, dude.
Is it sub 20?
Bro.
Sorry, I don't follow women's swimming as much as I do men's swimming. Honestly, I don't know. Our dog is tripping though. He's acting up right now. But seriously, even if it's sub 21 or sub 20, like that's insane. Insane.
She went 20.9. So why did I read it different? Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. First one sub 21.
Yeah.
She's on 20.9. Why did I think it was
20.03?
I don't know.
I think we're maybe a couple years away from that.
Erica Brown at 21.03. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Do you guys want to see him? Do you guys want to see this guy?
Come on. He's trying to play with us.
Look at this guy. Should I let him outside?
Yeah, I think you should let him outside.
Come on.
He's a little excited right now. Yeah, we just record this in our bedroom. Kind of low budget here. College students, you know.
Low budget podcast. No, I like just the I don't know. It's like super sad to see because they for spring sports they were like, okay, we'll let you redshirt and you guys can have another season, but for the winter sports, like they didn't let them do that. Like, and I guess they had what 90% of their season, but they didn't have like NCs. Like they didn't have like the ending, right? Like NAIA had their championship like right before COVID hit, but like NCs was like just about to happen, and even for like collegiate club, oh man, like for our program at GCU, like our our swimmers were ready, man. We were gonna go to collegiate club and like crush it, and just like not be able to have it. It's just so unfortunate, but it honestly it is what it is, and then you just kind of have to like figure it out and work your way around it. But definitely, yeah, this year, um, it's just gonna be so different with like ASU. Bob Bowman announced that he's redshirting his entire program for like the year, and like, is that smart or is that like is he playing it safe? I guess I don't know, right? Because it's like you don't want to play around with people's health like that, right? Because like number one thing is like health. You just don't want to mess around with that sort of stuff. But like at the same time, like how many of those swimmers are like, okay, I'm not going to ASU anymore. I'm going to go sign with another program who's going to train and swim. And so like, so I don't know. Like it's definitely like interesting how everything's just going to play out, and with especially with those athletes that redshirted to train for the Olympics. Who are they?
Yeah.
Dean Ferris, Maxime Rooney, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
And then Grant House with.
Grant House. Oh, this is not okay. He's just sitting there. So cute. So cute.
But just like with these athletes redshirting, and then like training for the Olympics, and then not having it happen, and then now they have to train through their NCAA year, and then have the Olympics again. Like, I don't know. Like, how unfortunate is that? It's like redshirt to train for the Olympics, and then like, oh, it's like we're postponing it, and then now you have to go through your NCAA season while you're trying to train for the Olympics. It's like that's just tough.
Back then, when they decided to redshirt, they couldn't foresee the future.
Yeah,
so
well, that's just tough.
Yeah,
like,
very
that's just tough to
unfortunate.
see. Yeah,
very unfortunate.
It'll be interesting to see how they do like these travel meets and these invites, because like if you think about like the NBA, they put everybody in a bubble and they competed, right? They're constantly testing to see if anybody has COVID, and like keeping quarantine measures and just making sure everybody's safe, right? But with baseball, like they're still traveling. I mean, they don't have any fans, but they're still traveling back and forth to like different teams to like play and stuff. And like how many teams like players got COVID, and then they had to like cancel games and postpone them and stuff like that, right? And so for swimming to be like that too, where we have to travel for dual meets and invites, and where there's multiple teams with hundreds of athletes, like that's gonna be tough, right? Like again, like you just don't play with people's like health like that, and so it's definitely gonna be interesting to see, right? Because you want these people to be able to like compete and be athletes, and if you keep pushing things back, like that's tough. That's really tough, especially in swimming. Like to come back from that's like really tough to do that. But like I don't know, I'm torn, honestly. I really can't.
I think a lot of swimmers are gonna not participate and just redshirt this season.
Yeah.
So that brings up a lot of a lot of younger, non-proven swimmers to come up and place top 8 at NCs, or even if they even have this season. Not a lot of schools have canceled their season yet, but Bob Bowman has redshirted his whole entire team. Has any other school redshirted their team?
There were like conferences talking about like, yeah, we're not gonna have like sports this year. There were a few. Honestly, I was talking about it like months ago, and I kind of forgot. Um, but there were like a few programs who were like, yeah, we're just like not gonna have a season this year, and like we just want to like be safe about it,
Yeah.
and all of that. But I don't know about like any other programs who are kind of like redshirting their season or canceling everything and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate for ASU too.
Yeah.
They're honestly on the come up. I'm not gonna lie. This year would have been pretty nice for them. They did lose their best backstroker and best long distance swimmer, and they haven't had a good breaststroker in 35 years.
Yeah.
But their 2 free relay, 4 free relay, 8 free relay would have easily been top 8. And yeah, so they're gonna be top 8 at NC's for the 800 free relay, 4 free relay, and 2 free relay. Not really the 2 medley, 4 medley. They haven't really been good at that in a while, but you know, I digress.
We got like premier. I mean, I say we, but ASU's
Yeah.
not. we.
We grew up as big ASU fans.
Yeah.
We lived in Gilbert. My mom went there. My oldest brother went there.
Mhm.
So we're really big into ASU.
But yeah, we got. I mean, they have premier like sprint freestyle, like
Yeah.
some of the best in the country.
I think
for
they
sure.
had 5 or 6 swimmers going sub 19.5 in the 50 free,
Mhm.
and then 5 swimmers going sub 43 in the 100 free,
Yeah.
and then also 5 people going sub 133 in the 2 free as well.
So has them ranked at what?
At 12th or 13th?
12th. Coming into this year,
Right.
which is that's a men's program, right?
Right, men's program.
Man, and it's to like just redshirt all of that. Oh, it's just tough. And to have like Grant House come back after being
Grant
redshirted
House,
too,
yeah.
like, oh man.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Um,
The women's program at ASU though, they had I forgot if it was Sierrungi or I forgot who she was honestly, but she was ranked first in the 2 free 5 free last year.
yeah.
That was huge for ASU. She had a chance to podium,
Score, yeah.
and she just didn't get that chance.
Mhm.
But I believe she wasn't a senior last year, so she is coming back. I believe so. Don't quote me on that. Again, I don't really follow women's swimming as much as I do men's swimming. But yeah.
Yeah. It'll like a lot of fall sports have been canceled, like golf.
Right.
I know a couple buddies of mine golf at Southern Utah University. Shout out Ali. But their season's been canceled, and like, and with COVID happening, like it makes sense. But hopefully things can like dwindle down, and like we can really like figure out a safe way for these athletes to like compete and like train and travel and like be able to do all of that stuff. Because honestly, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be real sad if like we don't have a season.
Right.
Season that's gonna be tough.
Yeah. What happened to Ali's sister? Their season got canceled too, as well, right?
Yeah.
For golf.
For golf over at South Carolina, and yeah, it's just tough. It's like these athletes who are kind of like relying on that to like go pro, get that recognition and stuff, and just to like not have that season is like really tough to kind of like, because you can talk up your game, right? You can be like, oh, I'm good, I'm fast, like I'm improving, I can, but like you can't show it with like your competitions and your meets and these tournaments and invites and stuff like that. So um, that part's been real tough. However, I'm gonna move forward.
Okay.
However, if you are looking to swim and you are worried about NCs and like traveling and like being able to do that stuff, collegiate club swimming, GCU club swimming, we are having a season. So if you're, an incoming freshman and you're looking at schools to swim for, and a lot of schools are unsure and you're just unsure about the season, we, GC Club Swimming, will be having a season. And it'll be interesting for sure. A lot of programs are having their season too for collegiate club. And what's interesting about like our league is that we can host our own meets with our own timing system, whether it be automatic, fully automatic with touchpads or semi-automatic with plungers. as long as we have a meet and we have results, we can send those in and qualify for nationals. And they've announced where nationals is, which is Atlanta, Georgia, at Georgia Tech on April 9th through 11th. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we plan on moving forward with our season. We won't be able to travel for meets, obviously because of COVID. A lot of programs aren't even traveling for their stuff either, which is unfortunate. But again, like we can host our own meets, and hopefully maybe that's what NCs will do too. Is like kind of have their like virtual meets, compete against another team and do that sort of stuff. But like, because most programs have an aquatics facility and a timing system, and they can be able to do that. But we will be hosting our own like intra squad meets where we're competing against our own athletes. We're pretty much a team of 70 athletes right now. Hopefully we can get to 80, but 70 is still a really solid number for a collegiate club program, and we plan on having a season, still competing, like being with our team, and then hopefully second semester will open up a few opportunities for us to travel to compete. We usually go out to California and compete against programs like Stanford, Cal Berkeley, UCLA, USC, Cal Poly, UC San Diego, UC Irvine, UC Davis. Pretty much all the programs out there. And we hope to compete in a large invitational out there. ASU and U of A are starting their club programs, so if you guys are Arizona natives and you're looking for a university to swim at the club level, they're starting up their programs. They have great leaders and a great program in place for the season. So we're just hoping to like second semester is really where we're hoping to like find the competition to compete and like travel and all that. But it's gonna be an interesting season for sure. But if you're looking to swim, like collegiate club is pretty much going everything as is, and just trying to figure it out. We're competing against ourselves and stuff like that.
And last year we went to a couple invites in Cali, and we did all right, but then we had our home meet by ourselves, and we just competed against our own team, and that's when we really took off, and everybody, not everybody, but most swimmers on our team did really well, best times in season, best in season times.
We had like five plus athletes. We were taking, I think, close to 25 athletes to nationals, and before that, I think we were at like 18 or 20, and then we just had 5 more people qualify, and then we had a bunch of other people qualifying their third and fourth events and stuff like that, and it was insane. It was a really fun meet to be able to like be in our own backyard and just like compete. We didn't have to travel, like and this might sound weird because like other universities like have an aquatics facility and an aquatics complex, and they're just like, oh, we would just go there and swim and practice anyways. We don't. We swim in like this 5-lane pool. It has blocks and lane lines and flags and all the works. Don't get us wrong. It's a good facility, and we're definitely blessed to have it. But by no means is an aquatics complex or facility by any means. But yeah, it was just exciting for us to like be able to like finally have that for our program's history, because that was our 4th year as a program, and we're constantly traveling to other places to compete. But being able to like have this and do our own meets has been really refreshing and really nice. So we're really excited to be able to do it again, especially that being our most successful meet throughout the season. Like being able to do it again, we're really excited about it and to have it.
Yeah, you did that meet second semester towards the end of the year. It was kind of like our last chance qualifying meet. But this year we're gonna have it first semester, so
we'll have one second semester too. But we do plan on like inviting other teams and having others like compete with us and everything. We just want to be able to figure it out ourselves and how to run and host like a well-ran meet and all of that before we start.
We did invite 2 other teams. For last year's home invite, but decided not to show up because they're too scared of us, and they knew we were way.
They were not scared. It was it was NAU, Northern Arizona, They have a team. They just couldn't get enough to travel down to compete. And then Southern Utah University, they were a brand new program, and that's like a 6-7 hour drive, and to like kind of get that together and be able to travel like a as a team like that is pretty difficult to organize. So really, I don't blame them for like not coming down to travel because it is like a lot of hard work to be able to do that. But of course, like even with our season, there's gonna be some uncertainties and like how everything's gonna be as well. But collegiate club, and we've talked about this in other videos, is a very good alternative for swimming as well. And so, if you guys are interested, let us know. Hit us up in the comments. Visit our website, clubsports.gcu.edu, and there's so many other programs too that you can swim for. Like I said, ASU and U of A are starting up a program, and a bunch of other universities as well. So definitely check that out too.
All right, so going off of club, I think we've been had a little, tier from Olympic pros to college to club, college club, and then to high school now.
Mhm.
So I follow high school a little bit. Jeremy, I don't think you follow high
Not as
school,
much anymore.
but I dabble in a little bit of high school swimming a little bit. Only like Arizona swimming. Um, but yes, schools are starting online for high school. The high school that I went to, Mesquite High School, shout out. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. Yeah, they they're online right now. I think until September something, and they actually started their swim season this last week, and I was pretty surprised by that since they're still online. Um, even though Mesquite's still a smaller, we have a smaller swim program there. It's still surprising that they started. But I just want to say, high schoolers and teenagers around that age, they're pretty dumb. They just want to hang out with their friends and they don't, and it's not their fault. They don't want to think about adulthood or whatever, but they just don't have, their priorities. Well, not everyone, but for the most part, and they just want to hang out with their friends or, you know, go to parties and stuff. So it's kind of surprising that to me that they're, trying to go back into face to face. But it looks like they're planning to. And some schools across the nation have gone back to face for schools. And I've seen videos, and there's just like hundreds of kids walking down the hallways, and it's just so crazy. It's been like what 6 months, and like I just feel like I live in this world where it's like we just always wear masks now, and um, we just don't go out anymore. So it's crazy to see that many
They
people.
weren't wearing masks though.
No, they were, but like it was just crazy. They're just all walking down hallways. There's people rushing to classes and stuff. And I don't know. It was crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That
Probably a
is
month.
right. You're right. You're right about that.
Yeah.
But some high schools won't even do sports this year. I know that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It's kind of weird for high school. It's a little bit different from college and pro athletes.
Yeah.
But
Just like at the end of the day, be safe, right? And I said this a couple times. We just don't play around with your health. If you're in a situation where like you're uncomfortable and stuff, then leave, right? Like at the end of the day, like your health is number one and should be most important. And so you know, just be safe about like what you're doing. Wear a mask up,
yeah,
and um, if you're not feeling well, stay home.
right. Um, Last year though, Arizona swimming is a fall sport,
Mhm.
and so they got to finish out their season.
That was nice.
So that was nice for the seniors. But in other states, swimming is a spring sport for them, so
California.
they didn't even get to swim. They didn't even get to start
Mhm.
their season.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember there were a lot of programs or like athletes that I was recruiting from California, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't have my high school season, but I could have gone this time,"
Yeah.
which I think is like funny. But maybe they could have, maybe they couldn't. I don't know. But like I said, like that's tough, right? Like especially in high school, even pro swimming, where it's like I could have been this, like for sponsors, like I could have been this, I could have been that, and it's just so tough with COVID because you can't do that. You can't show like your performance anymore. But it's been tough for sure.
All right. I also just want to talk about lastly about like the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Fans is such a big part of swimming. Um,
Yeah.
me as
This has been affecting me deeply.
me like watching swimming. I can watch swimming forever, like all day, every day, and just not being able to go to meets or watch meets online. It's just been kind of tough for fans. Even if we have the Olympics or the ISL, we won't be able to go to those meets. Maybe I don't know. They might. I want to say that.
Yeah, you know what? Like, you know what I'm like kind of upset about is that if I knew COVID was happening, I would have gone to the ISL Championship in Nevada.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I went to a wedding instead, and I was the best man. But like, yeah,
I would have figured out a way.
yeah, I definitely would have figured out a way to like be able to go because that was probably one of the last big meets. Well, I guess there were some tier swim series, but yeah, that was the one of the bigger ones. That was like one of the last big meets where they like had fans and you can go and watch, and it was close to Arizona too. And so, man,
Yeah.
I like think about that. I'm like, dude, if I could, I would have Carlos. I would have skipped your wedding.
He was the best man at his wedding, and so like he had an excuse not to go, and like I'd say you should have gone to that wedding instead of gone to the meet.
Absolutely.
But for me, I could have gone.
Yeah,
I had
it's
nothing to do. I was supposed to go with you, but then you had the wedding, and
Yeah.
then I was supposed to go with one of my other buddies, but we kind of just decided not to. And tickets were like super cheap as well. They were like $35. Like in the beginning, they got more expensive as they went.
But that was like for a day though, right?
Yeah, it was like 35 a day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to go, but I just decided not to go. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking then. I was like, yeah, you know what?
It's so sick to go to, man. Oh
would've?
my gosh.
They would have.
And Vegas is like a 5 hour drive
Yeah,
from. Oh,
it's close.
man.
It's pretty close.
If I'm really gonna do that again.
No, it won't. It won't be in Vegas.
Regrets,
Yeah.
man. Regrets. Biggest regret 2020. Actually, that was 2019.
Yeah.
Biggest regret 2019. But what can we do as fans to continue to like be fans of swimming and stay in the swimming community and in the swimming world and stay up to date, and not just fans but like swimmers too? Like, what can we be doing as swimmers if we can't swim, to continue like with our training and our mindset as swimmers and as athletes? So let's start, I guess, with fans. Well, and I mean this works for athletes too, because if you're a swimmer, hopefully you're a fan of swimming too. Hopefully. I mean, there are people out there who like never been into a swim meet. I can't name any Olympic athletes past, Michael Phelps, Ryan Lochte, Katie Ledecky. Like,
sometimes not even Ryan Lochte.
yeah, it's. But like, if you're a fan of swimming, there are a few things that you can do to stay within the swimming community and still be able to enjoy the sport of swimming. The number one thing that I can think of is just watching old YouTube clips. The ISL meet, I've probably watched that 3-4 times. The whole like 2 hour highlight video that they have.
Yeah.
We've said that in another podcast. If you haven't watched it, just pause. Just pause this. We'll wait. Okay, and you're back now from watching the ISL highlight video. But yeah, just watching like old videos on YouTube of just like anybody. There's so many Olympic events and stuff that they post all the time onto YouTube, and even Fina on Instagram has been posting like Flashback Friday videos, Throwback Thursday videos of like of not just Olympic games, but like World Championship games and stuff like that back in the early 2000s and stuff like that. And so if you're a new swimmer and you've only been watching since 2016, like watch old videos. Watch old Michael Phelps videos. Watch old Ryan Lochte videos. The 200 IM is probably one of my favorite events between the two of Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte, where Ryan Lochte out-touched Michael Phelps and beat has the world record and still holds the world record to this day. And that's probably one of my favorite events. But definitely stuff you can do to continue to be a fan and learn about the history of swimming and what swimming was back then. I think they posted a video recently of excuse me of starts for swimming and what it like used to look like way back when swimming first started.
Yeah.
And they just dove off of like a platform basically.
Nice.
And how it advanced and slowly developed into what we have now, with wedges on our blocks and the track start, and just like how high tech it is. And it doesn't seem high tech, but it's like so much design goes into that to make you have a fast start, compared to what they were doing back then. Like they didn't even wear goggles back then or caps, and their suits were so baggy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, super cool to like, and interesting to go back and see how the sport of swimming was back then. There's also things like the Swimfluence box. We've bought a few of them. You have 2 or 3.
I've bought 3 of them.
Yeah. And I have one, and sometimes they come with cool stuff. Like you just got a cap that was like Tokyo 2021.
Yeah.
We have like a drawstring bag that says swimming on it, but with like the font of Friends, the TV show. And so yeah, you get cool stuff. You got a pop socket too, right?
I did get a pop socket.
Yeah, and
It's
I
on
think
my phone.
yeah,
USA Swimming pop socket.
so I think each box is like $40 a month, but if you do like 6 boxes, they're like 35 or something like that. So it is pretty pricey, but they come with pretty cool stuff. And if you're a swimmer and you're like into swimming, apparel and gear and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
they do have like cool stuff that they have in each box. But that's definitely a cool one. And then Swim Swam Magazine. If you're not subscribed to Swim Swam Magazine, you should subscribe to Swim Swam Magazine. It's $42 for the year, and I think you get 4 magazines. And I actually just got one in the mail the other day with Reese Whitley. Look how fresh this is, and it feels amazing. There's so many pages in here. It's a bunch of articles to read about. There's one that I want to do with Jordan with this swim nerd quiz.
Right.
We want to do this quiz and kind of
this is do it right now.
test
our. I'm
we want to test out our swim knowledge and see who knows more stuff. And honestly, every time I read these articles, there's so many ads in here about like different things, like this swim nerd pace clock. We bought this for our program, and I wouldn't have known about it if I didn't buy these magazines. And they're super cheap pace clocks, and they're amazing. You can plug it in to turn it on. They also have a rechargeable portable battery that you can stick in there, and everything. And man, I have like 6 of these, and I love them. And they're super cool, super knowledgeable, and they have a lot of like good swimming articles about not just like Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps, although they talk about them a lot, but just swimmers on the come up, coaches, and talking about programs and just other things. And
this one talks about like the top 50 college swimmers heading into 2021 for guys and girls, and shows the top 20 programs.
Yeah, we were looking at that. We were looking at that list, and we're like, okay, I didn't know who you were, but like, it seems like you're on the come up, you know. So like super cool. Just like have I have 6 of them. I love just like the visual appeal of them are super cool. I mean, they talk about that when they advertise it, but I truthfully I love them. And $42 for 4 magazines. I mean, pretty good deal, And then to like other videos and stuff, we talked about the Cody Miller vlogs that he has on there. Super knowledgeable about professional swimming and the life of a professional swimmer, but also talking about IU swimming as well, and how their program is and what they do. And then Michael Andrews, again, he's kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit on his vlogs, but like
you can watch his older vlogs and videos.
His older vlogs are great too. And just a super cool guy. We love Michael Andrews. And then there's 2 documentaries about swimming that's come out. And when I said we were talking about Ryan Lochte, Ryan Lochte came out with a documentary, and he used to have a TV show too, and like if you don't know Ryan Lochte, like he's just a goofy guy, like he is, and he's a really like down to earth guy. Like I love Ryan, but again, like what the public deceives him as, especially after the Olympic scandal, like it sucks because that's just not the kind of guy he is, but just the way they perceived him as, like it,
His documentary talks about that.
Yeah.
It's a big chunk about that. But and he goes into detail about like what happened and more like what like the news didn't tell you. And so it's a really good documentary.
Yeah, really good doc.
It's on like this new streaming service like Peacock, I believe.
Something like that.
But yeah,
definitely give that a check. And then there's another documentary with Michael Phelps in it. It's called The Weight of Gold. And Michael Phelps is a huge advocate, and same with Allison Schmidt. They're huge advocates of like mental health and how that should be applied like in the sport of swimming.
I would watch this one with caution. Sorry to cut you off. Watch it with caution. It does talk about a lot about mental health and depression and stuff like that. So if you're a little younger, watch it with caution.
But it definitely goes into like the weight of gold, right? Like being at the Olympic Games, winning a gold medal, and like what that means, and then like after the Olympic Games, like what now, right? And it talks about like how a lot of athletes go into like a post depression after the Olympics because they were riding such a high, and then it's like what do I do now? And so Michael Phelps talks about how like he was fluctuating through that. And if you followed Michael Phelps in his career, like you know about it, right? And how he went to rehab and all that stuff. And so he's a huge advocate for it, and talks about it a lot in this documentary. And it's really knowledgeable and educational about like mental health and mental awareness. And like even though you're a kid, and definitely watch it with caution, but also like absorb that knowledge and listen to like what these people are saying, because that could be you one day. You could be an Olympic athlete, and even if you're not an Olympic athlete, like you can just deal with depression as a whole. And swimming, like there's a lot of like self-confidence issues and stuff like that where you can learn about that through this documentary, and just like how you can like better your mental health and your mental strength and mental awareness like through your life, like as an athlete or just a person as a whole. So those two documentaries are great. Definitely give them a check. I don't know. No, the Weight of Gold is on HBO. Yeah, and then the Ryan Lochte, you said it's on Peacock.
Yeah, some new streaming service.
And then Swimmers for Change, they came out with like these regular podcasts of different athletes talking about again mental awareness and just like different topics through the BLM movement and stuff like that. So give those a check. I think you have to like subscribe to it. I don't think you have to pay for it though. But if you subscribe on Swimmers for Change, then you can watch all those podcasts. And I've watched every single one of them, and they're great, and they're super great people on there, and again, just very knowledgeable on the swimming world and stuff like that. And then if you're a swimmer, right, and you're struggling on like what you can do, being out of the pool, not having practices regularly, is build up your knowledge of swimming. Watch videos and like become like a better prepared swimmer, so that when you do get into your training, like you know what you're preparing for, right? Like too often people just go to practice and they just swim and like do that, right? But if you can mentally mentally think about what you're doing day in and day out, and what you should be focusing on, and what you should be working on, that'll help a lot when you go into that training and you have goals, right? That last video that we just posted about goals and how to make progress towards those goals, positive progress towards those goals, and building up your confidence and getting that motivation, like that's super important. So building up your knowledge base is really crucial. And then just like learning different skills and how to become a faster swimmer. Gary Hall Sr. with the race club, based out in California, has really great videos with scientific data that backs it up, about how to have faster dolphin kicks, how to improve your underwaters, on improve your backstroke, your breaststroke, like all your strokes has very great videos on that. And then Flex Swim has very great videos on drills and stuff and how to improve your swimming. They also have a podcast. They haven't posted a lot lately since they've come out with their new device, the Flex Edge, which is a device you attach to your goggles, which tracks your swimming and your heart rate and all that. Really cool device. Check that out too. But when you can watch these videos and like understand, okay, this is what I should be working on during these drills. This is what I need to be understanding when I'm in the water and working on different strokes and how to become faster and all this. Like, you slowly build up that knowledge and you just become a better swimmer. You become better at training, which improves, your performance in a meet and helps you drop time. And so, if you can do that to like help build up your knowledge and what you should be working on in the water, like it'll help overall with your swimming. And then the last two things are these mentorship programs with Olympic athletes and then professional athletes. The first one is Team Elite, coached by David Marsh, arguably one of the best coaches in the world. David Marsh coaches a wide variety of Olympic athletes or Olympic hopeful athletes, from Michael Chadwick, Jacob Pebley, Kathleen Baker, his own daughter, Alyssa Marsh, and I'm blanking on a few other names, but he coaches. I think there is probably 15 athletes in that program that he coaches, and they have this mentorship program that kind of helps fund their training and funds their traveling for meets and helps get them to the Olympics. But they do this mentorship program where you get to meet, you get to choose which athlete you want to work with and what you want to work on. And so for me, when I was looking at it, Michael Chadwick is big on his Christian faith, and so to me that was appealing. I believe it was Michael Chadwick. I think. Oh man, did I get this wrong?
No.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I think I just got this all wrong. I'm like 99% sure it's Michael Chadwick. It's
Doing so well.
I know I was doing so well, and then I second guessed myself, and I was like, is it Michael Chadwick? I'm pretty sure. Hold up. It's almost here. Yeah, Michael Chadwick is huge on his faith with Christ, and he's a believer of God. And so to me, that was appealing because again, as a child of Christ, like I want to better understand like how I can perform for my Creator and have that Christian faith behind me while I'm competing. So if you're interested in it, there's a bio for each athlete, and you just fill out this form on what you want to work on, how many days you want to do it with them, and like there weren't things like this when I was growing up. Like you don't get to work with Olympic athletes, right? Like you don't get to be mentored by Kathleen Baker, who's a world record holder in the 100 backstroke, and Jacob Pebley and Michael Chadwick and like all these people. There just weren't things like this. So
I
as a younger,
wasn't getting mentored by Michael Phelps, when I was younger. So
yeah, he was getting mentored by me.
and look how no, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
But if I were a younger swimmer and I could go back in time and like and I saw this, like I would jump on that right away. And I know money can be an issue for sure, but like this is honestly once in a lifetime opportunity. Like I said, they didn't have things like this, so I would honestly recommend jumping on that. And so Team Elite does that, but also Caleb Dressel, top swimmer in the world, 100 fly world record holder, 5,300 free, just absolute monster at sprinting. He's doing a mentorship program. It's called Piece by Piece, and I believe that starts September 16th. And he's doing a mentorship program. There's 11, I think he calls them like classes within the program, and you work on your mental health and your training and nutrition and stuff like that. And to be working with like a top athlete, like I wanted to sign up for it, and like I'm not even like swimming anymore. But just like have that opportunity to work with a top athlete in the world, like I think is just, it blows my mind. When I saw him like announce, I was like, yeah, a mentorship program with Caleb. Like honestly, to me, that's the equivalent of a mentorship program with Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Like because I mean, Caleb Dressel doesn't have all the Olympic golds and stuff like that, but like he's top swimmer in the world, just like Michael Phelps was, and just to like have a mentorship program like that is super incredible. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, and helping them fund their way to the Olympics, like check it out because it's really cool stuff what they're doing. And again, that'll help you as a swimmer train being out of the pool and stuff like that for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You were talking about, Michael Phelps doesn't do the mentorship stuff.
Mhm.
He lives in Arizona, so maybe, I'll just accidentally, run into him, just make him talk to me about swimming.
Michael, if you're listening to this,
Is that weird to say?
Jordan wants to be mentored by you.
I'm just saying.
All right.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
He's an Olympic hopeful.
I am an Olympic hopeful. Are those hopes not hope? My hopes are huge.
Yeah.
But am I going to be? No. But my hopes are.
Yeah.
I'm. I can dream. Okay.
And then I did forget to mention this, but I kind of want to talk about this now. While we're on the topic of like training through COVID, is like don't think that like you're losing your training and you're gonna become slower by not practicing and training through this COVID time, because SwimSwam honestly probably for the last couple of weeks has been posting nonstop videos of like athlete swims lifetime best time, athlete swims fastest time ever, athlete swims a new PR, blah blah blah. And that's not because of chance. Like that's not because of they were training through COVID and then now they're swimming lifetime best and they're improving. No, these people were able to take a break from swimming, be out of the pool, let their bodies heal, work on recovery, and then get back in the pool and train. And we've talked about this in other videos. Recovery is so important. It's so crucial, and that's probably the number one thing that I have a problem with club swimming with age groupers and senior groupers as well. Is that like they push these kids to do doubles on their winter breaks and summer breaks and stuff like that when they're not in school, and then when they are in school, like they just work them so hard, and if they miss a practice, they just get on them so hard. And if they go on vacation, they're like, you need to be swimming, go to a hotel with a pool. But it's like, let your body rest, let your body heal, recover, take this time to work on your injuries, to improve your body physically, to improve your mind mentally, to get like our last video, work on your goals, right? Watch these videos on how to improve yourself as an athlete, how to train correctly and what you should be focusing on and learning while you're training. Take this time to like absorb that stuff and learn, rather than, oh, I need to be in the pool and practicing and working really hard and stuff like that. No, take this time to like stop and take a deep breath and recover, and just rest a little bit, so that when you get back into the water, you have that mindset to work hard, and just train better and more efficiently. Honestly, that's probably out of all of this, like my number one advice, to like younger swimmers, but also like senior swimmers who are 14, 15, 16, 17, or even 18. It's just like rest, right? Like take this time to just heal, and get your mindset back on, right? Yeah. Anything else from you, good sir?
No, sir. That's about it.
Yeah. COVID swimming. There's a lot to learn from it. There's a lot of unknown. But at the end of the day, let's just stay positive. Let's stay healthy. Let's stay safe.
Let's not test positive.
Let's not test positive,
But let's
but let's
stay
stay
positive.
positive. And let's stay negative as well. Don't be negative, but
Test negative.
don't test negative. Wait, do test negative,
yeah.
but don't be negative. There you go. Quote us on that.
Don't quote us. I don't think we were the first people to say that.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys learned something from this podcast, and just learned a little bit more about college swimming, Olympic swimming, and ISL, and just how to become a better swimmer through this COVID time. If you guys have any questions, if you guys want to know anything else about us or whatever, throw it in the comments. We love reading your comments. We reply to every single one of them. And then like, follow, subscribe. We also have a new Instagram account, Splashpad Podcast. Give us a follow on that. We'll be throwing regular updates for our videos on there. And we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.
Thanks.